Now, most guitar makers think a lot about the tops of the guitar and the soundboards. You also seem to think a lot about the backs.
Yes, but
More than normal.
it was, in fact, what I realized, once I had a good ticket to go and listen to the Philharmonic Orchestra in Paris, and I don't remember what was the program, but I was absolutely fascinated by the presence of sound, the power, if you want, but the presence of the sound of the harp. And I wondered why in an orchestra a harp has such a presence of sound. And I realized that in fact the conception of such an instrument is to build a very flexible top on an outside structure which is very, very, very stiff. In fact, a harp, you have a kind of vertical timber which cannot be deformed, a kind of, I don't know how to explain that, structure which is very strong. Mm-hmm. And the different strings pull from the inside the top, which seems to suffer a lot by the tension. And I realized that the piano is the same. The outside structure is very, very stiff to allow the top to vibrate. In fact, what I believe is that in a guitar, you cannot have more than the energy the strings can give. Mm-hmm. That is to say, the maximum of the energy of the sound is in the strings. So we know the cumulated tension of the strings, and you have two solutions. Or this energy is able to go to the top, to allow the top to amplificate the sound as much as possible, and you will have a guitar which amplifies the sound from the very smallest piano to the very strongest forte, fortissimo. Either you can have a very flexible instrument that will absorb very regularly by all the parts of the instrument a part of this energy. This kind of instrument can have absolutely fantastic quality of sound, but I believe that for the projection of the sound, in fact, it's better to have a stiffer body on which the top is settled. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I realized that the sides is very important. Naturally, a lot of makers before myself tried with double sides, but I have noticed, except with Daniel Friedrich, which is the exception for me, that very often it is coloring the sound in perhaps a rather artificial type of sound, as the guitar was not exclusively acoustic, but between acoustic to electroacoustic guitar, something with a very, and I respect naturally because there is no truth in the guitar making, but for my taste I didn't want to do that, so I have preferred to use ordinary simple sides, but reinforced with an important number of vertical bracing, which is long and not so easy to build, which in fact stiffs the sides, but without increasing the final weight of the sides, which keep the guitar to a traditional type of sound you can have listen from Antonio Torres, Santos Hernandez, Fleta, Boucher, and so on and so on. Mm-hmm. So in fact, as I didn't want to increase the final weight of the side, I have preferred to use a kind of bracing. I have researched what kind of wood was the best. My latest evolution make me think it's, for the sound I like, it's Central American mahogany. Mm-hmm. Spruce does not give the same sound. Honduras cedar is very good, but I prefer Honduras mahogany for the internal structure of the side and the back. And for the back, I have noticed that the traditional back with the 3 or 4 transversal bar, in fact, does not give a quite flexible material, because you can have deformation between the bars. So 4 years I have added two, at first it was strips of wood, after that it was 2 bars of an average of 1 centimeter width, which stiffen the back very strongly, and the sides and the back in this style allowed the guitar to keep the traditional sound of the guitar, because in fact, in my opinion, a guitar must sound like a guitar. A piano must be like a piano, a violin like a violin, and a guitar, I would prefer it sounding like a guitar than like a banjo. Understand what I mean? So my goal, my aim is to limit the final weight of the instrument to an average reasonable weight, to keep the typical type of sound of the guitar, but with some ideas to allow the top to amplificate as much as possible the energy of the strings vibration.